I'm Edwin Warfield, the publisher of Citybiz, and I'm honored today to interview Matt Flynn, who's the CEO of MyTown Health Partners. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you for having me today. Excited to talk about our company and our mission.
Can you provide an introduction to MyTown Health Partners?
Sure. MyTown Health Partners was founded and developed to ensure access to high-quality, outcome-driven care to communities that are medically underserved. At MyTown Health Partners, we're passionate about ensuring equity when it comes to access to comprehensive health care, regardless of where one lives. When I started the company in 2022, my goal was to build a team of like-minded individuals who could focus on making an impact in communities that are often overlooked when it comes to the investment of resources. We believe that we can build a sustainable and successful company that can do well by doing good. The leadership team is made up of individuals who have dedicated their careers to making a difference in how healthcare is delivered and how outcomes are measured. We have worked together in prior roles and prior organizations, and we have rejoined to get together to make this vision a reality. We will focus our efforts on supporting communities that are in rural, urban, and in deindustrialized areas that have been affected by hospital closures. We'll grow in these areas through two channels: through acquisition by partnering with mission-driven providers who have built high-quality practices that focus on expanding access to care, and secondly, by opening practices in areas of need. As we grow, we will have a provider-focused approach that ensures that we are able to focus on patient care while our infrastructure supports administrative functions and allows for more efficiency. Through this model, we'll be able to invest resources that allow for expanded access to care in these communities, a broader scope of services offered, and the use of enhanced technologies. Most importantly, this focus will allow us to invest resources to attract and retain the top clinical talent that they can then focus on ensuring the strongest clinical outcomes for these communities served.
So MyTown Health Partners recently partnered with Total Family Health. Can you tell us about that partnership?
Yes, we're very excited about our recent partnership with Total Family Medical. It's in Robert, Louisiana. This occurred at the beginning of February. The team at Total Family Medical has built an impressive practice that provides comprehensive health to the surrounding rural communities. Their services include adult and pediatric care, along with women's health and behavioral health services. Their mission, which is respect, dignity, compassion, every patient, every time, says it all. We believe that they're very closely aligned with our mission, as I just described, and we're excited to grow with them in Robert, Louisiana.
Can you tell us about the medically underserved populations and how MyTown Health Partners is addressing their needs?
Sure. Medically underserved populations face challenges that can include, amongst many things, a lack of primary care providers in a given area, limited access to specialists, and an absence of health care systems that can meet their complex and often unique needs. MyTown Health Partners will work to further support these communities by investing in the existing systems of care to provide them with the tools and resources needed to help expand both the scale and the scope of the services that they can provide. Examples of these enhancements may include integrating behavioral health care, counseling, and even access to specialists via telehealth platforms, all offered as part of a comprehensive approach to the care that's provided. As we grow to be a multi-state platform of providers, we can make a meaningful impact that can extend far beyond the exam room and potentially to other stakeholders at the legislative and payer level to help advocate for these communities. We have a vision with the right values, as we like to say.
And so what specialties are you focused on?
We're initially focusing on adult and pediatric primary care. Through these practices and through this medium of care delivery, we'll look to determine the need for other important services, as I mentioned earlier, women's health, behavioral health, counseling. We're also closely looking at occupational health, as the individual's work health is closely aligned with the health of they and their families. And we'll look at other specialties depending on the needs of the communities that we're serving. As far as where we'll do this, we're not focused solely on any one region at this time. We're looking right now at most of our development is in the east and southern portions of the country. However, we expect to expand beyond those regions and to meet the needs of these communities that we're looking to serve.
So let's talk a little bit about your career. You started as a physical therapist and you had stints in companies such as Concentra and Springstone. Tell us about your career and the decision to join MyTown Health Partners.
Yes, I am trained as a physical therapist. I still maintain my licenses, and it's something that is very important to me and who I am. I believe very strongly in something that one of my professors mentioned during our last year of grad school in Philadelphia, which was each of you is leaving this school and this institution with a skill. It's a skill that can impact lives. It's an ability to help folks that are at times at their greatest need. And if you are not laying hands on patients each and every day, you need to make sure that what you're doing has an even larger impact on the community at large. That's been my compass through the years as I've stepped away from direct clinical care. The roles that I've taken outside of direct clinical care have been closely guided and informed by those words of one of my professors years ago. My roles at Concentra, we were very involved with innovative systems of care. We worked very closely to put together treatment models that allowed for individuals to get back to work, to get back to their ability to provide for their families, and to do so with a lower risk of re-injury. My work in behavioral health at two companies where I served in leadership roles was closely guided by very similar principles. I believe very strongly that there were disparities and issues with equity in terms of access to behavioral health services, and I worked very closely with others to ensure that we built platforms and companies that could meet the needs of individuals, treating them with dignity, respect, and ensuring that they got access to the medical care that they needed to regain the most productive lives that they could. All of these experiences have shaped my interest in MyTown Health Partners and helped me to form both the company and the mission. I believe very strongly that we have a responsibility to ensure that resources are invested and in support of areas of need, and MyTown Health Partners, in my mind, checks all those boxes.
So Webster Equity Partners is your financial partner and with a deep experience in healthcare services. Can you tell us about their role to date and their funding to date?
Yes, Webster Equity Partners was founded in 2003, and as you said, it's a private equity firm that focuses on high-impact growth strategies. They seek to deliver optimal outcomes for their investors, their portfolio companies, and the communities that those companies serve. Their mission is to deliver superior returns to their partners through the investment in and development of purpose-driven, patient-centric healthcare organizations that are dedicated to providing best-in-class care and services to their patients. MyTown Health Partners is a portfolio company of Webster Equity Partners. For more details about Webster Equity Partners, I would guide folks to their website, websterequitypartners.com, where they can learn about their other portfolio companies and a little bit more about their mission and their experience, as I've mentioned earlier, in this purpose-driven, patient-centric approach to supporting their portfolio companies and the communities that they serve.
And can you share the growth plans for MyTown Health Partners? Is it going to be internal or are there acquisitions on the horizon?
Yes, there are several acquisitions and partnerships on the horizon. Obviously, I'm not at liberty to discuss those, although there will be upcoming press releases on those as soon as we hope the end of this week and several through the month of April. We have a very strong pipeline of partners that we are working together with to reach a close, and we're very excited to share that information once it becomes public. But we will grow through two channels, focusing on medically underserved communities. The one channel will be acquiring practices that are led by owners who share our passion for ensuring equity in terms of access to high quality care, and then partnering with them to expand the scale and the scope of their respective practices. And then, as I mentioned briefly earlier, we'll look to grow by, when necessary, developing new practices in communities where there aren't options for access to healthcare. And as I mentioned, we will focus these efforts in rural communities, urban communities, and those affected by hospital closures and deindustrialization.
And what role does telehealth play in this strategy?
Telehealth is a very important piece of the strategy. It can serve to support our mission in several ways. The first is that we can leverage scale to expand access by having partners, several different partners in one state, for instance. Even though they may be geographically dispersed, we can expand access, expand hours of service, expand on-call services, things of that nature, by having the breadth of multiple partners within one geographic area. That is something that is an example of an enhancement that we can bring to some of these sole practices that we're looking to partner with. Another example of the reach of telehealth is that it can allow for access to specialists in some of these medically underserved communities where it would be highly unlikely that someone could reach a specialist without driving several hours. Those are barriers to care, access to care, and those are things that telehealth can solve. As a growing platform, one that has resources in both urban and rural areas, for instance, we stand in a very unique position to help solve some of these inequities and to leverage technology in that manner.
So is there any part of the MyTown Health Partners story or your own personal story that you haven't shared with us that you'd like to share with us?
No, I think I would like to reiterate the fact that this is something that I am personally very passionate about. I believe, as I mentioned earlier, that those of us that have had experience in multiple different organizations that have a healthcare background, we have an obligation, I believe it even to be a moral obligation, to ensure that we are breaking down barriers to have access to care, solving inequities in services, and ensuring that investments are directed to and supported where we can have the most return. And I believe very strongly that this mission that we're on, this endeavor, will have an overall impact on medical spend and overall clinical outcomes. By applying the types of principles that we've been talking about, and by ensuring that we do these things consistently, always with an eye towards highest quality clinical care and driving strong clinical outcomes, I believe that this impact will reach far beyond just the communities that we serve. As I mentioned earlier, this has an impact on overall medical spend, on overall clinical outcomes, and it should have a positive impact on other stakeholders that we hope to start partnering with even more closely as we grow. Those include folks at both the legislative and at a payer level. Again, very excited about this and looking forward to having the opportunity to share some more of our growth with you over the coming months as we have even more locations that we can speak about and share our experiences with you.
Well, Matt, I want to thank you for sharing your story. It's been documented by a number of books in the New York Times, the challenges in rural areas. So I think it's an important mission, and we wish you the best of luck going forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Edwin. I appreciate it.